This is the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and Krissy Vann. That's me. And we're taking you on a little off-roading.
And every single week, we're going to be joined by our dope friend, Richelle from True Grit Moto.
Woo! Hey, I floss.
And every week, we are going to ask each other stupid questions. We're going to answer them. And why, you may ask? Because we can. All right, this is your motivation.
Off-road edition.
Okay. Oh, do I want to do that one or this one? Yeah, I'm going to do the hard left. So, an 81-year-old accused of being a serial slingshot shooter. Actually, he was actually charged. He wasn't just alleged. He was charged. And he would low-key terrorize his little community by slingshotting BBs into people's like windows and windshields for like 10 years. And people in the community had no idea who it was until finally like someone from the police force took it seriously enough. He's no longer alive. God bless his soul. But he did this for 10 years and with like 81 years old. Well, I guess he was 71 when he started. But like binging people's shit in his community. And they're like, there's no real motive. He was just, there's nothing that they could
He just was
figure
having
out.
fun.
He was just fucking around vandalizing people. And they were like, yeah, it was like crazy because you didn't know where it was coming from. And it was always just like constantly would happen out of nowhere kind of thing. And people's imagine
I would kind
in
of
your
miss
community
that guy. I would miss that
going
guy.
out. You'd miss it. You'd miss the like adrenaline pump of like, am I going to get binged going to my car? Am I going to walk out in the morning?
Did
and
he ever
car's
hit
binged?
anyone? Or was he just hitting
I think
things?
so. I think
Oh, okay, that's different.
I could be wrong, but I think he did because they were like, or maybe they just were always afraid that it could accidentally or whatever. But
yeah, right.
it was
Ricochet.
mainly just, and because they were like, with their kids, they were like, you're scared you're going to get BB'd kind of thing, right?
I guess if
Yeah.
you don't know where it's coming from or what's going on, that would be very nerve-wracking. But to find out that it was some 70-year-old just like trying to live his best life towards the end of his life. It's not
feel like
slugs, man. It's people.
Yeah, serial killer that couldn't quite fully commit, right?
Totally. Yeah. He had the idea. And
What's
just
something
couldn't
that you
come
could see
to it.
doing as an old person that would be super weird, but you're like, I would enjoy it and I'd be okay with it because I'm older and I could maybe get away with it. No one, I'd be unsuspecting.
I'd probably like key people's cars, like really cute notes. I'd be like, live, love, laugh, like on everybody's door.
Okay, love
Or-
it.
You know,
I just
like
read the article while we had this discussion about Slingshot Man. I was curious, so I gave her a little open and read it here.
She's dead.
I mean, he mainly just did it from the backyard, but yeah, just malicious mischief. It makes me wonder if he had unresolved things and that was his best way of expressing it. I also feel like people like that become a fixture of the neighborhood, even though they're a shit disturber.
right.
Roller Girl
Yeah.
comes to mind. If you've ever
Yes.
walked up Main Street
Yes.
in Vancouver, you've probably been verbally accosted quite aggressively.
Oh,
Yeah.
I visited her. I'm like, her and I are like
We've
acquaintance.
had both.
things.
No,
Yes,
but
'cause
she
I
has
was
a
like,
hot
she's
for my
nice.
husband.
Ooh, so you were dead to her.
Yeah. Like he was like, hey, honey, and I was in the way. But then, quite honestly, at Cascade Room once, we were sitting on the patio and she sat next and joined the whole time. And it was like a whole thing. But
Yeah.
Lord.
call him A, call him B. And you're like, you are
Yeah.
a figure of this community. So
Yeah.
I do
Right.
feel like in his passing, there are people that are like, oh, no windows broken lately. Like,
Mhm.
bless.
Right.
But they didn't know it was him. They didn't know it was him until the end. That's what I read was they were like, we were shocked. They were like, we didn't believe it when it was like, it turns out that they were the guy.
Right.
They didn't know it was the guy. It
Right.
was with the
Oh, he
police
did
officer
get
that
charged
finally.
with vandalism.
Yeah.
So they did know when he was alive.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But
The
the
story
10 years
thickens.
leading up, that was like, they didn't, that's why it was like, where's this even coming from? Right. You'd almost think it was a kid, but then the kid, you're like, well, they got to grow out of it at some point.
You know, there's these old guys. Okay, there's this old guy that manages my building and he leaves me gifts. He leaves me gifts at my door. And
Like,
I'm
what
just-
kind of gift?
I'm gonna show you this gift that he got me.
Exciting.
okay?
While you walk, I'm filling this up.
Are they
Yeah.
sweet or creepy?
They're interesting to say the least. Like one
They're
time,
sweepy, creepy and sweet.
They're creepy and sweet. Okay, let me grab. Okay, I got these on here. We got 2 here.
There's so much anticipation. This is the best unboxing video. You have to present it to us.
Okay, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready?
So
Okay, here's
gifts from your old neighbor.
Here's number 1. Okay.
Oh, it's a sweater.
And it says, "We'll miss you, Bob. Good luck, Marge. All the way, Woody. Best wishes in the future, Donna." What is this?
Wait, did he draw all of those things on the sweater?
No, I maybe
Or on the shirt?
He worked for Bedford Enercon. I'm not sure.
But why so many well wishes to different people?
Yeah.
And who's Bob? My manager's thing is, his name is Alec. Who's Bob?
Oh, that didn't disappoint at all.
And
Now I
he
can't wait
also-
the second gift.
he-
Always clothing.
Oh.
Okay.
There's more.
Coveralls.
Oh,
With
that's
his
actually
name on
sweet.
it. With
He's
his
brought-
name on it.
It's his old coveralls.
It's his old coveralls.
You've been
More-
bequeathed his old coveralls.
I've been bequeathed.
You've
is
been
this-
quiffed.
Maybe this is also an Enercon gifty poo. So,
Amazing.
like those are just but one time when I first moved here, you guys are going to love this.
This is I go into a category suite, I think.
Yeah, I had a pair of Vann, 2 pairs of Vans. One was like a black lace up. The other one was the checker slip on, right? They fit perfectly. I had worn them for a few years. They were mint. They were like my favorite shoes. Okay. Flash forward to me living here. I'm only here for like maybe 2 months. And I'm not thinking about it because I got a lot of shoes. I get a knock on my door. And he goes, "Rachel," as he doesn't know how to say my name. Okay.
Amazing.
I found these shoes in the laundry room. I thought maybe you would like them." And he hands me these 2 pairs of shoes that are brown. A brown pair of checkered Vans, slip-ons, and a brown pair of black Vans, lace-ups. And I'm like, "Oh, like cool. They look like they've been washed. Somebody's washed these brown shoes."
They
He
look
goes,
familiar, weirdly enough.
Well, no, they hadn't yet. So
Oh,
one day, they're sitting on the ground because they're missing the insoles. Like he had taken the insoles out and thrown them away. So one day I'm like, "Where's my checkered Vans? Where's my lace up?" And I look over and I'm like, did he take my shoes, bleach, wash them, and then bring them back to me as a gift? Like without me
Yeah.
knowing.
it's exactly
And
what
you bet your ass he did.
Yeah, he did.
And I was like, "Alex, are these my shoes?" And he's like, "Yeah, they look dirty when I was in your apartment." And
I was
"What
in
were
your
in
apartment.
my apartment?" And whereas I was like, "These shoes were perfect." I was so upset. I was so
Okay,
upset.
pause.
Yes.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yes.
Pause.
I know.
Hey, okay. Number 1, was he in your apartment when you were not there?
Yes.
And number
Yes.
2,
Yes.
how would that have happened?
Him in my apartment without me here? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know. He sometimes sits here and throws rocks at my window and yells my name just for me to come down and have hangouts with him in his little walkie chair. Yeah. And it still calls me Rachel.
3,
I love that
Also,
you
I have-
got in
I-
your apartment and you're really hung up on the name is my best part.
this is the thing. I'm like, and you were like, "And he dyed my shoes," after you grazed over. He was in your apartment
Yeah.
without you. And the fact, yes, that you were like more hung up on the name and the shoes than you are that your old neighbor has gone into your home without you there, and you don't know how that happened. How is that not
He did it. Him and
disturbing your soul?
he's got this wife, him and his wife, Anna and Alex. Okay. They're like 80, maybe 90.
Okay.
And he can barely walk. And I actually
Made
have
it
a
into
picture
your
of
home,
him
all right.
on my Instagram. I'll send it to you guys so you can see it. Where I fixed his motorcycle, but his big dream was that he wanted to one day ride his motorcycle again. So every year now that I've been here 2 years, I've gone to fix his motorcycle so he can think one day that he's going to be riding it.
Oh.
Easy.
Yeah. So he has like a thing. So yeah, he was in my apartment. I'm not sure. I don't think he got far, but he did do that for probably 6 months. He would like go into my apartment and he would fix or do something. I don't know what.
Locking the door, not interested?
Yeah.
Or what's
Well,
the
I would come
check?
home and my door would be, I remember one time my door was ajar and I was like, oh, interesting. So I went in and there was like drywall. He had like done something to the walls where he had like, maybe the previous girl that was in here didn't quite sledge all the holes in the walls. So he'd come in and he had put like the, whatever you call it, to fill the holes. And then he had done that, but then forgot to shut my door. And so I called him and I was like, Alex.
It's like a well-meaning burglar.
It's so funny.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So he did that for quite some time, but I think his wife, Anna, was like, you got to stop doing that because he hasn't done it since. So
You've grazed over once again the portion where Krissy said, not lock, like, what's your hang up of not locking the door? And you grazed over that pretty quickly. Are you locking your door?
yeah. Oh yeah. He has keys.
Oh,
He's the property.
Now I have more questions.
where did that? Oh, okay.
He's the property
Okay.
manager.
He's the
Yeah,
property manager. Oh,
Yeah.
you filled in a big old blank spot. Because
Oh,
we thought this man was like jimmying your door with a
No.
hairpin of his wife's, and then like in his senile kind mind, leaving the door ajar.
I'm
This
so
man with a
sorry.
walker?
He's the
was like-
property manager. Yeah.
I mean, don't apologize. It added to our viewpoint of the story. Who's seeing it through our perspective lens through that entire journey till the end. I was like, oh no.
Spicy.
Right.
Amazing.
Before we move on, I realize I have a pressing question for you, Richelle.
Yes, hit me.
It's Rachel.
Rachel.
It's Rachel.
What happened at the dentist and flossing?
Oh, okay, let me make this my story, actually, because it's better than anything in life. So as everybody knows, my story right from the hop of this podcast is I love flossing. And I don't know when it started, but I've been flossing since I can remember. Sometimes 3 times a day, sometimes every hour. Like, and for very long spouts. Yeah, I constantly have a floss in my mouth. Yeah. And for a very long time, my dentist was like, my goodness, like this cleaning is going to take 2 minutes because these teeth is popping off. And I was like, yeah, well, I floss, but I use those floss sticks that I do use the biodegradable ones now because now they're invented. And I do still floss. I got one right here. It's bad, but anyway. So I went to the dentist because I had a poof like in one of my like a puffy spot in my gum. Okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to say.
The medical term?
It's a poof. And it was where I used to have a root canal.
Oh.
And I go to the dentist because now that I'm self-employed, I couldn't really afford to like go get my teeth cleaned, even though I was getting my teeth cleaned like every year.
Yeah, fair.
I went in to go, I was like, this is huge. Like I was eating sushi one night and I was like, what is that? And it didn't hurt. Nothing was going on. Anyway, I go to the dentist and he was like, you have a chronic infection in the bottom of your root canal. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, it's like basically we have to remove your tooth. We got to go in, like dig into your gums and remove this infection. And I was like, how the hell? Like I brush my teeth morning, night. I floss like it's crazy. And he's like, what do you mean you floss like it's crazy? I was like, well, I floss like 150 to 100 to 200 times a day. Like that's all I do is floss. And he's like, well, there's your problem. He's like, you are flossing so much that you created like a gap in between my gum and my tooth. And caused
bacteria got in there.
Bacteria got down because the root canal has no root. Got down in underneath my root canal and caused an incurable infection until I get my tooth removed. So now I have an abscess on it until I can get it removed.
And for those that don't know, I'm like, just a little fun fact, but not to freak you out either, Richelle, because you're being proactive, but your dental health can actually significantly impact your whole body health. Like, it's a good thing that you found that, because it actually, people don't realize it causes significant and sometimes like deadly problems in the body. So
that can lead to like sepsis or something like that, like something fucking crazy.
Yeah, like brain stuff. My ex, her dad had a tooth infection, and it led to like a brain problem. Like something happened.
I was really hoping that you just got like a talking to or like a hilarious scolding. It ended up more serious, but I had to know because we cut you off at the end, and you were like, "I got told I can't floss," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
right, forgot about that."
I remember. I was keeping. That's why I haven't slept. It was keeping me up at night.
You just went off-roading with the Motovation Podcast, hosted by Laurie Joy Kingwell and myself, Krissy Vann.
And of course, a special thank you to Richelle from True Grit Moto.
Whoop, pause it.
Never miss an episode by hitting like or subscribe. Connect with us on Instagram at Motovation Podcast and visit our website at themotovation.com. And in the meantime, full tanks, full throttle.
I think this is good though. It's like healthy, you know? Like people will be like, "Oh my god, I don't floss."
Well, it's to be so hard not to laugh. That's through this intro.